Yahoo! No yeehaws around here.
No yeehaws here.
Yeah, exactly. It's Yahoo, not Ooh-yah or Yeehaw. It's Happy Stampede, everybody. Wow, it's sneak peek. But as you can tell, I'm all dudded up already. How are you, Jaden?
I'm loving life. I'm out on the farm, and I'm not as cowboy as you.
I know, right? It's all us urban cowboys that have to take it for a while.
That's right.
That is awesome. Well, we're back. And my apologies for last week, but I was in Toronto, and there was absolutely no way I could have made that work. So hopefully everyone has appreciated at least the weekly stats that I've been sharing. Today we are back in a big way because we've got our wrap up of June. Going to give you, we'll talk a little bit about like we talked about last night at our business networking, where we actually did our big feature weekly presentation about why using a pro in this business is more important now than ever. So with that said, let's get to the weekly stats and we will talk through this. So we're officially in July now. So May is out the window, as are some sales. We are definitely seeing that shift in full force right now. So people have talked about a shift in the market. And, we've seen that. So only 319 new listings. So, that's always the interesting thing is we're not seeing the massive bubble of new detached listings coming on the market, but we're also not seeing the sales keeping pace with that anymore either. So our solds were 255 compared to 317 last week leading into Canada Day. Now, what I will say is we talk about traditional real estate market in Calgary. This is traditional. Although we're seeing that slide, excuse me, this is what we see here. Prior to COVID, right leading up to Stampede, it's like the bottom falls out of the real estate market. So I think to a large degree in life, we're back to normal to some degree anyway. And certainly the real estate market is showing that as well. 274 for pendings for only 529. Look at that number, Jade. Only 529 total sold plus pending. I would have to go back through my files to see when we were in the 500s for sold plus pending. But again, that's traditionally what's happened Stampede Week or leading into Stampede Week and through summer in Calgary. Net difference only 210, price reduced 230, so that's dropped as well. Here's something that I find super interesting in the stats because the stats tell a story. So our total detached listings at 2218, and that's down from 2260. So you're like, Mark, are you sure about that? And I am. I double checked my numbers this morning. Here's what happens. In this type of market where homes are not selling quickly, listings expire and they also get terminated. So without delving into the terminated listings, the expired listings, that is my sense of what's going on because even our total listings are down from last week. So kind of interesting there. So that is really going back 3 years now to when people, their homes weren't selling, the price reductions weren't happening, or they just couldn't afford to sell at whatever price it was. And so they either expire or get terminated. When we look back a year ago, our sales are actually slightly higher this year compared to last year, but just really by the margin of error. So let's call it flat. New listings, flat. Active listings, this is still the story right now. It's still 22% down from last year. And our pendings, really still quite strong at 917. Median price, average price, and then the days on market just continues to creep up. And I think if you combine days on market with the amount of price reductions we're seeing, that does make sense, right? We're seeing a slowdown in sales. Homes are not selling as quickly, so it takes longer for them to sell, obviously. And that's why we're seeing that. But I mean, if you look at last year, the same week, we were 38. And I believe last week, the year over year comparison week by week was, I think, in the low 30s for days on market. But, generally we're creeping towards where we were last year. So over to you, Jaden, with interest rate updates.
Yeah, so I was all excited. This has been a great last couple of days on the kind of on the fixed interest rate front. All excited to talk to you guys about it. I go to update my rates today, and I noticed that in the 3 weeks that we were gone, at that time when we left, interest rates were in the low fours, And now I'm all excited at that 4.59 on the 5-year fix, because what happened in the meantime, while we haven't been doing this, rates were up at 5.04% on a 5-year fix on those insured mortgages with less than 20% down. And so this 4.59 has just dropped a half point. Things look great, right? But really, in that 3 weeks that we were gone, things continued to go up over that time. They went up rapidly. And so what we're seeing now, and we've seen it in the bond market, and generally speaking, we see this, the fixed rates follow the bond market. The bond market is plummeting down right now. And so we anticipate over the next couple of weeks that interest rates will continue to drop into the fall market. We think we'll be down considerably, and I don't know what that means. That could be high 3s, low 4s, mid 3s, which would be great. But we're heading that way. And one of the things that's happening to my variable customers, to variable customers of big banks right now who are on that great 2.7, is the banks are reaching out with letters like, and really playing on the instability of the mortgage marketplace right now, and saying, you're in a variable, you have the ability to lock into a fix. We can lock you into a fix today at 5.04. And you think they're doing that to protect you out of the kindness of their hearts? Of course they're not doing it to protect you out of the kindness of their hearts. They're doing that to lock in 4, 5, 3 more years at 5.04%. So I'm saying to all of my variable clients, listen, if you're worried about where variable is going, that's fine. It is going to go up more this year. Like we'll see probably in this month another half point, maybe 3/4 point rise. But it's going to start to stabilize and go down next year again. And the fixed rates are coming down. So if you want to lock into that fixed rate, don't do it today. Please. You don't have to work with me. You don't have to be a client of mine. If you are listening to this today, you have a variable mortgage, and they're asking you to lock in at 5.04, throw that in the fire. Find a place to light it on fire. Get rid of that letter as quickly as you can.
You can use it as some fire starter in your camping this summer.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. So yeah, rates are continuing to do what they do, but luckily we're on the other side of things. It appears that we've reached the peak on the fixed side, starting to come back down now.
All right, sounds good. So let's move over to our June recap. So, the story we told last night is, as Jayden talked about, like, that's great information right there. Please, talk to a professional, talk to Jayden, talk to myself, because when markets shift, it is more important than ever to have a professional like Jayden on your side, like myself on your side, because we do this full time. We are monitoring the real estate market. We are monitoring interest rates every day. We know what's going on. So, that is our comment, I guess, today. So when we look at the stats, so you'll see there's a green. There's all those little green dots on the bottom, and there's the red under sales. So our total sales are actually down 2% year over year. And our detached price was up, or I think it was around 13%. And I just cannot read that because it's way too small. Prices went up overall in June. So I think, when we look at the recap here, so we had 2 different months, January to March, multiple offers, unconditional offers, which Jayden hates. We had a huge seller's market. I remember sitting outside of a house in January and it was minus bajillion. And that's actually a real temperature, minus bajillion. And we were one of 70 showings that day. Basically, the door was open and it was just realtors going in and out all day. I can't remember how many offers they got. The house was listed, I believe, low, and it sold for $130,000 over asking. Now, that was January, and this is July. 2 very, very different markets. So March, we had a record sales for all-time sales high, and we've seen that slide in sales, which we've been talking about for quite a while now. Seeing the increase in inventory gradually, although it was down this week. And we're going to continue to see that fluctuation where terminations, expired listings are now a thing again. But really important to note, we've still had a record sales year, and still prices are still far above expectations for the year. And last year as well. No expect this to happen. So that's kind of the recap. And I'm going to remove that off the screen just as we kind of chat here for a couple of minutes. But I was just chatting with one of my partners because I have a client that's looking at listing in Southwest Calgary in the Silverado area. And we're talking about, what's the market doing down there. And, there was a house that was listed at $639 and sold for $718. So there's still these pockets, and that was in 4 days on market. So there's still these pockets of the city that don't have a lot of inventory. So if you are in one of those communities, yes, you might be looking at more of a January sale versus a July sale for a lot of the rest of the city, but that's on a case-by-case basis. So what do? You reach out to me, we do a market evaluation, and we tell you what your odds are of selling at whatever price that you would be looking at. So that's just one little tale from the field that I wanted to share today, because it really is market dependent. And then I have a client looking at townhomes, our client, Jaden and my mutual client, looking at row townhouses. He's been looking up on the west side, like Aspen, West Springs, those areas. There's some places in Aspen, so beautiful row townhouse sold 2 days on market, right? Priced well, not underpriced, priced well. So again, it's very interesting what's going on in the market right now, but I guess the best thing to do is reach out to me, and we can certainly help you with understanding what's going on in the market. So enjoy Kevin Costner. Are you going to the parade, JD?
No, I got some family in from BC, and they're wanting to avoid the craziness, and we're going to go to the Stampede early next week when hopefully things are a little bit slower.
Nice. Well, I'm down there every day. I think this is COVID messed me up timeline-wise, but I think this is my 9th year volunteering at Stampede. So it's kind of my time of year. You're always proud to be Calgarian and from this area, but it's just that extra bit of, a community pride that we feel at this time of year when we welcome so many people from hopefully around the world to Calgary and our surrounding areas. So enjoy your weekend, Jaden. Enjoy your weekend, everybody. Happy Stampede. Enjoy the parade tomorrow, and we will talk to you again next week.
And Yahoo!
Yahoo!